Yo guys, it's your boy the Purist, and we're here to talk boxing. Sorry we're late today, but we come back with an all-star cast. We've got Don Kazan as always.
What's good with y'all, man? Too sweet, you already know.
We've got big champion Jordan Dujon,
Come on.
and we've got just big Harry.
Let's save the best till last.
All right. As always, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave a review. Just keep downloading as you guys have been doing. It's been growing steadily over the weeks and months, and yeah, let's get into it. Listen, let's just be honest with you. Lack of preparation. We're just gonna obviously we've all watched the fights, but we're just gonna flow on this one, all right? Let's start with the biggest: Dylan Whyte versus Franklin. I should know his name now because we deserve to know his name. Great performance against Dylan Whyte. Showed his hand speed. Showed why he was. I think he was 22-0 going into this fight. Tested him at the end. He looked like he was going. He's only had, I think, 2 fights in 3 years or something. And then to do that against Dylan Whyte shows, he's not a joke. I'll go with Harry first. Harry, what did you make of the fight?
Thanks, Don. I think for me, it was probably Franklin's best night and one of Whyte's worst nights. And I keep umming and ahhing if it was just a really poor performance by Whyte, or if he's just sort of recovering from the loss to Fury, or if he underestimated Franklin, or what. I expected more from Whyte. I pretty much expected that performance from Franklin. So I'm still fairly indecisive over it. Sometimes I think Franklin was landing quite a lot. Well, he outlanded on Whyte through each round. I know that for a fact. But if it's a scoring shot, I'm not too sure because this new cross guard that Whyte brought in. So yeah, back and forth in my head.
Go on, Jordan. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I just think he just started really slow, innit? I don't know if he was caught up in maybe style, but yeah, towards the end of the fight, 6 rounds onwards, you started to get the old Dylan Whyte grinding out a win, which he needed to do. But you know what? I'm not going to judge Dylan Whyte off his performance. I mean, realistically, whether it's the loss to the Fury, he's also had some personal issues going on as well. And obviously that is a massive part of a fight. The mental is everything. To me, I think I'm going to go more with that than the Fury loss. Because once he realised he was in a fight, he dug deep and he got a solid job out. But yeah, Frank is no joke, man. No joke. He can fight.
Kuzan, what do you think, bro?
All right, first of all, his name is Jermaine Franklin. That's his name. I looked it up. So, but second, I take it as what I've been saying, man. Pick your tune-up fights carefully, wise. Actually pay attention to the people that you're going to be fighting, swapping leather with, because you might get shocked. I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like even if Dylan Whyte was having a terrible night, right? He's supposed to be touching elbows, rubbing elbows with elite brass. You know what I mean? In the division. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying he's supposed to be rubbing. He's supposed to be talking about fighting guys. You know, a couple years ago, he wanted to fight Wilder, like ASAP ready, like now. Like I wanted to fight him now.
He still wants to.
But you see that type of performance, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. You come with against Deontay Wilder with that type of performance, it's not gonna end well for you. I also want to give credit to Franklin. I felt like very few times in these tune-up matchups do we see the tune-up fighter actually grab that shit by the balls, bro, and be like, fuck it. I'm actually gonna step up. And because everybody already thinks I'm gonna get fucking smashed. So let me just go ahead and step up. Like, it's very few times we see that. Like, we've seen that throughout boxing. But I feel like
what I'd counter that with, though, is that what you actually had there is you had a genuine sort of, I mean, he's 29. I wouldn't really call him a prospect, but a genuine sort of up and coming heavyweight in Franklin. 9 times out of 10, what we see in boxing is when people make a comeback, they'll go in against the journeyman. They'll go in where they've sort of got a guaranteed win. Whereas you had someone, like you say there, who was actually trying. So I get what you're saying, but I think with the new coach that Whyte's got, with this new style he's trying to implement, yeah, he should have gone for a journeyman maybe. But when you're at that level, like you say, where you're rubbing elbows with the elite and you're doing all that, then can you afford to?
And that's why
Thing
it
is,
goes.
bro,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, White was coming back, but so was Franklin. He hasn't fought often recently, so he must have been rusty as well.
Of course, yeah.
But for Franklin, that's probably like the equivalent of a world title fight. It's an opportunity. He's not had an opportunity for what, however many years?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I just still chalk it up to pay attention to your tune-ups, man. Like, don't just be like, oh, it's a tune-up. I'm going to just, because now, like, look at prime example. Now, I'm not going to, because this man might be that guy. You know what I mean? And I think he is. I think he's going to do what he needs to get done. But Gervonta Davis is basically using a former world champion as a tune-up for a fight before Ryan Garcia. Like, that's a crazy tune-up, bro. You know what I mean? Like, opposed to some people picking journeymen and picking people who are like, you know what I mean?
Who's he got?
What'd you say?
Who's he got?
He's fighting. Hold on. You guys. I'm about to find that out right now. He is fighting Hector Garcia. He was the WBA super featherweight champion. Well, he is in August. As of August. So yeah, man. But he's using that as a tune-up, bro. Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that you're fighting somebody who, you know what I mean? As a before the, oh yeah. Because like, and the reason why I'm saying that it's like a tune-up is because look at the way he's promoting it. He's not even really talking about it. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna fight this dude, and then I'm fighting you, Ryan. Like, you know what I mean? He's not even making him seem like he's.
What's the weight difference there? Because that guy is super featherweight, so that fight's gonna be at lightweight, right?
Truth. Yeah, I did not think about that.
It might be above lightweight because him against Ryan's at 136. So
yeah, because Ryan stepped up. Yeah, so it might even be a catch weight or something. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's good. It grabs attention. It grabs. Oh, he's fighting a former world champion. But if you look at it,
it's still a pick.
But then, to be fair, Davis isn't really a natural lightweight. He is a super feather, so they're both bulked up. It's
weird.
I mean,
either way,
Adam Azim announced himself on the weekend.
Oh yeah,
that was a brilliant performance.
I actually watched that.
Yeah, I think he's got fast hands and he hits hard as well.
He can bang.
A bad combination. He's a banger, isn't it? It's a tough combination. What weight does he fight at?
Super lightweight, but he's gonna go down to lightweight.
Yeah,
is he?
Yeah,
sheesh.
Doing that just to avoid Jordan, isn't it?
Oh, you gotta remember, that Charlton, he boxed Marku up at welterweight.
He's a big guy.
He just got blasted out by a lightweight in a round.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It just shows how he can. Adam can bang. He's a talent. He's definitely one to watch in the UK.
I think he's so talented. It's going to be exciting to see him because he's got the McGuigans guiding him, and I really rate Shane as a coach, and I think Barry sort of as a manager is top notch. I've really taken the Ben Shalom as well as a promoter. I think he's doing really, really well.
I think the whole setup, got a good family. Not going to be like some wild kid that's out racing, doing a madness. Like they got their heads switched on, and like it's literally boxing. So yeah, he's gonna be a problem, man. Well, he's so yeah, one to watch.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys. Actually, let's stay on Dylan Whyte. Him versus Joshua is looking likely for next year. Yeah. After that performance, you guys think he's got a chance?
You know what? The thing is, it's one of them. Regardless of the same way with Joshua, I'm not going to look at performances because I think AJ wins that fight. But when you actually hate a man, it's different. Like the boxing goes out, you're just swinging, and that's what happened in the first fight. Joshua clearly had the physical advantages. He was training up at England for the longest time. better boxer, more power, but he got dragged into a war because they just a dislike for each other. Now, there might be civil outside of boxing, but it's that one that is 1-1 now. We're going to make it even. This will go down in history. And someone's not going to sleep for years to come because of this last fight. So, like, it's going to be an emotional fight. You know what this fight is going to remind me of? I don't think AJ is going to get dragged into deep waters like this. But you know when AJ got knocked down against Klitschko, is they have to come up and like I feel like it's like that sort of fight, like it's just exciting. That's what I thought it was going to be like. I think AJ knocks him out with an uppercut. But yeah, no, I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for it.
What a storyline that fight would be, because like when they look at where their careers were when they first encountered each other, and then like look at where their careers are now fighting each other, like both coming off like not coming off, but both have had like devastating like knockout. I mean, like just failures in their career, like in terms of losses and shit. But you try from that, you learn from that. That fight's gonna be a banger. But I got AJ. I just feel like AJ boxes better than Dylan. Like when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, like you said, Jordan, like I felt like the only reason why Dylan got the upper hand in that first fight was because he took him off his game, because he's really good at doing that, and his style is very like aggressive and on you. So it makes you want to like be like, oh, man, fuck out of here. I can do that too. Like mixed in with the energy of you dislike this person. But I just feel like when you boil down to it, as long as Joshua is switched on, he will win the fight 9 times out of 10. Just because I feel like his boxing is just, when you bust it down to, his boxing is just better than and mix that with the fact his physical advantages over him with the reach, like he knows how to use it against him. You know what I mean? So I got AJ, even though AJ's, I feel like they're both in shell of their former self states right now, like kind of like slump states. I'm not saying it's gonna stay like that, but I do feel like they both are. Who knows? The winner of that fight could be the one to make them go back to the, you know what I mean? But I got AJ if that fight materializes.
I think what we need to see from Whyte is a sort of performance, that sort of spite and focus and drive he had in the second Povetkin fight. He got knocked out in the first one, and he was just in the zone. You can see in the build up to it, the media, the weigh in, he was just zoned and locked in. And I don't think we've seen him with that level of focus since. I think he tried to avoid the mind games of Fury and tried to avoid the kind of circus that is Tyson Fury in the build up to his fight with him. But I think because of that, he sort of created his own side circus by not going to press conference, by not doing anything. He got sort of dragged into a mind game somehow by trying to avoid one, which was weird. Then you had this fight where I think he had a new trainer. He's got things trying to click. I think he's come off a loss. How do you go from like a big Wembley stadium to literally the Wembley Arena? I was with a friend of mine who was doing an interview opposite, and you could see the difference and the contrast in like Wembley Stadium and arena. And it was that taking that in was, it's going to be something for him as well. I think Joshua he does have this knack of rising to the occasion. If you look at the second Usyk fight, he put in a good performance. He got beat, but you could see he put a lot in and he focused and zoned in. So I think the only way Whyte can do it is if he can tap into AJ's mind and get him angry and bring out the street in Joshua, and at the same time be in a zone where he's just locked on and focused. And it's if he still wants to do that, if he's still got the hunger to do that after the paydays that he's had.
All right, and any other comments on that topic?
If I was getting £20 million paydays, I'm motivated, man. I don't
Especially to fight someone who's your rival as well. I think they'll both be out for it. They'll both be training hard.
They'll fight each other for free, let alone 20 million.
All right, guys, again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Purist Apparel out now, link in bio. Link to everyone else's profiles in the description as well. Also, little announcement, me and Kuzan are going to start doing a Thursday show. We'll release more on social media, but it's going to be us breaking down different fights I'm not gonna reveal what fight is until the day of the show, but just keep locked in, stay locked in on the Instagram, and yeah, there'll be more soon. Yeah, all right. Speaking of the man, Tyson Fury is facing Derek Chisora in a trilogy bout. The trilogy that literally nobody in the whole wide world asked for, right? Like I remember watching the second fight, yeah, and like there was no single part of me, yeah, that ever thought I'd see the fight again unless something went seriously wrong for Tyson Fury. And the worst part is everything's gone seriously right for Tyson Fury. He's won every belt there is. He's lineal WBC champ. Just come off a great trilogy against Deontay Wilder. He's at the peak of his career, and he chose to go rematch Derek Chisora. The fact that it was this weekend, and I only realized that 10 minutes ago, and I searched up, oh, what if there's a fight on the weekend that we need to talk about on the podcast? And that was the fight. That's how uninterested I am, and I'll let you guys have the floor. Has anyone got any interest, or does anyone think Chisora can win? That's a better question.
Come on, come on, man.
I mean, it could be an act of God, you know.
Come on. Don't be up here telling jokes and shit, man. In the damn comedian.
Up wisely, right?
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Stop playing.
You know what? For me, obviously, Tyson Fury, he's mates with Derek anyway. He knows Derek's on his way out. So this is like a payday fight for Derek.
Yeah.
But I think Fury being the champion, I mean, you got to compare champions at the minute. AJ, when he was world champion, was having back-to-back tough fights, whether it's top 10, whatever. Fury's come back. He's fought the most dangerous man in boxing, Wilder, beat him. He's now beat Dylan Whyte. Keep that run going. Like, cement your legacy. Like, I would like to see him. He doesn't have to be. I mean, Derek Chisora is not up there. Go fight Ruiz. Go fight some other big name. Like, you don't have to fight someone you beat twice. It doesn't make sense. That's what frustrates me. I like to see him go through the ranks and dominate AJ's opponents more than what he did. If you're the man, you're the guy. If you can beat AJ, go and beat his opponents and then show him that that's what you'll do to him.
I think for Tyson Fury, if you look at him, he is an actual boxing historian. And one thing he's mentioned is being the only champion to have 2 trilogies, which is wrong because plenty of champions had more than 1 trilogy in the heavyweight division. But what he's sort of referring to is fighting in a trilogy for a heavyweight title. So in his eyes, it hasn't been done before. So this is all part of when he retires, he can go, I was the lineal champ. I won every belt there was to win. Then after this fight, obviously we're aiming for Usyk. So he's going to say, I held all the belts. I was the undisputed. So it's when he retires, he can turn back and say, this, and this. You're right in what you're saying, but he's got his own narrative in his head that he wants to do. And I think Fury's the sort of person where if he wants to do something and he thinks that's the right way, that's what he'll do regardless. We saw this when he came back after the Wilder fight. He fought, was it Tom Schwartz? And who else did he fight? It's 2 just nothing fights, basically. But he was bigging them up because of where they were in the rankings, whatever. Wallin, that's when he got cut, and he should have lost because that should have been stopped on that cut. So if that was any other fighter, that fight would have been stopped. So I think for this fight, there's no real interest on my side. Even the undercard isn't that great. I think they should have put the John Ryder Parker fight on the undercard.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just Fury doing his narrative, and if he says jump, Frank Warren and everyone else around him will say how high because he is their cash cow. And what they're doing is ripping off fans. They're just ripping off people that will pay for tickets to go to the fight, pay for pay-per-view. There's no value in it, really. It's not competitive. It's not a matchup. I think Fury is the epitome of you can sort of step out a hero or carry on long enough to become the villain. You know, if you look at the comeback that he had coming back from his mental health battles, depression, drink, drugs, to go back to the top of the mountain, he's carried it on and allowed this circus to build up around him. You know, him coming out with, I'm retiring, I'm not retiring, I'm the greatest, you're above. Like, his family, Tommy Fury, doing all this crap with Jake Paul, his dad's doing what he does. It's become a bit tedious and tiring. Like I'm not as excited and as I used to be really happy when I would read a Fury article or watch a Fury video or be in the build up to a Fury fight. And now I just sort of sigh. I don't care.
So, is no one actually looking forward to this fight?
No.
So,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what,
I agree with Harry, man. I'm a Fury. I was a big Fury mark for my pro wrestling fans out there. Look it up. You know what I'm saying? I was a big Fury mark, man, for the longest. And then he just kept doing stupid shit. And he kept saying stupid shit. And I was just like, damn, come on, man. And like it became less and less wanting to see him, like, you know, and see him do what he does best, like in the ring. You know what I mean? So I could like rewatch the footage and break it down in my head, like, damn, he did this, he moved that, he did, you know what I mean? It became less and less about that and more about stupid shit. Just like, oh, I'm gonna fight this guy, I'm gonna do this, oh, I don't want to do that, I want to do that, you know what I mean? And it just took a huge like wind out of my sails, like driving that boat. So no, I'm not. Derek Chisora, though, that's my guy, man. I fuck with that. Yo, Derek Chisora, come over to America, bruh, and just do a bunch of fights in America, bro. They will love you, bruh. Like, think about it. The American audience would love Derek Chisora. He is literally,
Whyte. I mean, Deontay Wilder.
bro. That fight
that's
over here.
Tyson Fury.
You said what?
That's the only fight he's got left after Tyson Fury.
But it's gonna look. It's a good end-off fight because he's not gonna probably want to fight after that fight. But it's gonna be a good end-off fight. You know what I'm saying? He get paid. He can eat all the cheeseburgers he want. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I love me some Derek Chisora. He's gonna get crushed up though in this fight.
What we've got to think of though with Chisora, look at the fight we had this weekend with Whyte and Franklin. I'd say it was an interesting fight, but it wasn't a good fight. And Whyte beat Chisora back to back. So I wouldn't put Whyte from his performance this weekend in the ring with Fury. If you told me they were having a rematch based on what I saw this weekend, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't want. I'd feel pretty much the same here. So we've got a lower opposition than Dillian Whyte going in with Fury as a voluntary. It's not.
To be honest, I thought Chisora won that first fight.
A lot of people did.
I think he was winning the second one until he got dropped.
Yeah. So against who? Dylan. Yeah. No, I thought you won the first one.
And sorry, just to add to Kuzan's point before I forget, yeah. I think with Fury, especially when he talks, right? He's got 2 interviews in the last week, yeah. One saying why he needs a Joshua fight for his legacy and whatnot, and another one just saying basically Anthony Joshua's a bomb and I don't need to fight him.
Yeah. It's like, bro,
depending on what day of the week it is, his opinion changes.
Yeah, bro, stupid shit. Like, come on, man. Now.
But let me say, and this is probably going to be quite controversial. Have you noticed the sort of decline of Fury's media handling? I guess we could call it the decline of Fury's, I guess, status and reputation and image that he projects in comparison with the closure and shutdown of MTK. Like he had, there was a lot of other stuff going on there. I'm not saying MTK should have stayed open. I think with everything that went on, it's very clear that, that shouldn't have been continued. But it's very clear that he needs a very solid management team around him to dictate a narrative, control, and give like a clear off or sign off on what interviews are released and what's not, to make sure that he's in the right state of mind before he goes in front of the camera. Because at the moment, I think he's managing himself and he's just going out free reign. And every time he goes out, like you say, he's saying one thing 1 minute, another the next. It's just...
Yeah. It's like he forgets what he said.
Yeah. Exactly that.
Same way, you can tell he's a bit of a wind-up merchant, and I think sometimes he takes a piss not realizing what he said the week before, but he is just genuinely taking the piss. But it's the retire 1 week and then fight Derek Chisora the next week and go for undisputed champs. Like certain things, you can like at first you think he's doing it for a story, but like at this point, like what is he actually doing it for? Like what is the reasoning behind all of this?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Again, make sure you like,
that's
Go on,
another.
sorry.
Sorry, bro. That's another thing, a big thing in boxing, and this is what's changed over the years. All this, oh yeah, the fight's not happening because this negotiations, blah blah blah. Like, there's always some politics behind the scene. I mean, back in the day, it was just, I don't even know what it was back in the day, but I just don't feel like there's ever been a time in boxing where, oh, this person, it's like everyone's just bitching. Everyone's just bitching. Oh yeah, this one doesn't take the fight. He's got this contracts, that contracts. This person wants to walk out first. There's all these little pieces. Like, it's just needless information that we just don't need. Just get the fight done.
I think a lot of that though has to do with the rise of things like if we look to America, like Al Heyman. If you look at Spence Crawford's a great example. Spence is making bank fighting sort of B-level opposition at this point. I think he's got the Thurman fight coming up. But we were screaming out for him to fight Thurman 4 or 5 years ago.
But saying that he was as well, though.
Yeah, well,
and then
it was,
Thurman,
but also
he done to Thurman
married.
what him. So if you're a young hungry dog coming up trying to get your world title shot, and then the man stop you from getting there, then now you're there and he ain't got nothing. Yeah, you sit at the back of the queue. Let me go out and get my big paydays, and then when I need you, now you can come to the table. that situation, I don't blame him for, because I would probably act the same. I would.
But that's my point. Is you've got management on both sides that have blocked that fight. So now we're getting it when it suits the fighter, not when it suits the fans. When people in boxing, or boxers have been overpaid at that top level for a long, long time, and there's no equal distribution to the sort of lower ranks. So when you've got people that are on these big platforms, they're the sort of mainstay stars that are being overpaid and being told, you don't need that fight, you're the champ, he has to earn his shot, when they're like a mandatory, or they're number 3 in the rankings, and you can get paid more money for fighting a lesser opposition than the guy that the fans want to see you fight. It's fucked the game. It's fucked boxing, and it's been going on for so long now. I really hope in the next sort of over the course of the next 5 years, we see this change, where we actually see the best fight the best, and actually see something happen. I think if they can agree on the actual terms and get an actual date and a venue sorted, that Davies and Garcia may be the fight to help turn that. Because at the moment they've got an agreement in principle.
Now hold on, why you say it like that, bro?
Like what?
Like nothing's done.
Well, they've agreed to fight in principle. You can agree anything in principle. Have they got a venue?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Have they got a date?
The thing is, until they step in the ring, nothing's 100%.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But you've got an agreement, right? I could agree with Don that I'd fight him next week. Doesn't mean I'm going to turn up.
Do it. Let's
yes,
do it.
We'll do it. We've got a fight. There you go, guys. We've got a fight next week.
It.
We don't know where. We don't know when next week, but we've got a fight.
I know where.
But you see what I mean? It's
but
not a deal until it's a deal, and like you say, it's not a fight until they're in the ring. But there's steps that take place. Go on, Jordan. Sorry.
Look at what happened on the weekend. The Charlie Richards fight, that was agreed. They weighed in. They didn't touch the ring. And that Ryan Garcia fight, I feel like that very much, until they step in the ring, I can't see it. And then I still got that thing that maybe Ryan Garcia will do what that other guy done. He was a Jafai. What was it? Jafai, the heavyweight, when his opponent just walked
out the ring.
A Jagba.
Yeah.
Jagba. Sorry.
I feel like Ryan will just do that. It's like,
well, if you look as well, I mean, Tank's got a DUI case coming up, so there's a big chance he could be in jail before.
Yeah, he could go to prison before the fight.
Yeah.
So they're obviously going to try and get that done before he goes in.
Well, I just think it's a case of it's that boxing thing of, oh, Leonard Ellaby selling or saving boxing, what a great sort of setup. But actually, like you've agreed something in principle. Take it from there. So kick the dog out.
Well, you're saying some late night DIY there?
No. I've got a dog that just wants to get out of the room because the door's shut.
You fucking hell. All right. Yeah, so Fury Chisora is a big thumbs down from everyone.
Yeah, man, fuck
Um,
that. That shit is crazy.
all right, some real boxing. Regis Prograis got a 11th round knockout win over Jose Zepeda.
Yeah.
Um, Zepeda, he, don't get me wrong, he was doing okay, but he was pretty much getting dominated most of the fight. And then at one point, he done what I urge a lot of boxers to do, right? You're down on the cards, yeah. Don't wait until the 12th round to give it your all and say, "Oh, if I only had more time." I think it was the ninth. I think it was the ninth round where he said, "Yo, I'm losing. I can't win on the scorecards. I'm gonna go for it." And
Yep.
he went for it, bro. He absolutely went for it, right?
See,
And
that's the
then that
fight.
yeah, and that what but that being said, it did wake up Progress and Progress put a beating on him.
Yeah.
He put a beating on him to end the fight. But again, if you're gonna lose, go out on your shield and it. Don't just wait until the top round and think, if only I'd done more, if only I'd started earlier. Actually start earlier and see where it lands you. Obviously landed him on the canvas, but if you're gonna lose, especially for a world title, you could see what it meant to him. He really, really wanted that world title. But it didn't pan out the best, but I just like seeing that fight, that kind of aggression. That one fight that we're going to talk about later, he slightly lacks. But yeah, he went out on his shield. Prograis looked good. And again, we spoke about this last week. He's a good world champion to have because you know he's going to look to fight the best. He's going to look to unify. So yeah, positive signs for boxing. What did you guys make of the fight?
Hold on. Before I'm gonna answer this question first. Look at the comment. Gotta post that. That shit is hilarious. It's about Jordan. It's so funny. That's a great comment. That's incredible. But hey, that was a great fight, man. Jose Zepeda, man. My man is that's really the definition of I got heart, bro. Cause like I heard I don't know, but y'all heard he was in a car accident a couple days before the fight. And he still went and fought like that. That shit was crazy, man. That shit was crazy. But yeah, I mean, Reeves pretty much gave it business as usual, you know what I mean, stance, but it was still a good fight. But shit, man. That's just crazy. Man, I stubbed my toe. I'm like, I don't want to go outside. Fuck this. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers is getting in car accidents and being like, I'm ready to get punched in the face. Like, what? That's crazy. That's a crazy mentality, man. You really got to give respect, man. That shit is wild. It's wild to me.
I think great performance by Prograis. But just coming back to that comment, I think there's another coincidence as well. Some of you may not know that I actually used to live opposite Jordan. I was living with my ex. And it's not just since he won a belt. I think since I left my ex, Jordan's won a belt and he's got brilliant Wi-Fi. And we used to have great Wi-Fi.
He's
so
trying
I'm
to
not sure what's going on anymore.
I took your belt and your girl.
Yeah.
Damn, you set him up for that one. You set him up for that one.
No, it's fair. I knew what I was getting into. Yeah,
I'm ready.
She's still got my cat as well. So if you got my cat, I'll be really pissed off. Like...
Yeah, your cat.
Yo, AB, you should have had. I wish we have we were prepared because the clips would have went crazy. You could have played the Paulie clip after Jordan said that. Shit would have went crazy. I mean, the AB clip
as well. I'm gonna get a call in the morning when it's live. So, yeah, Jordan in the background. Nah, just leave him. Just leave him.
You know what I'm most excited about for like the bigger fights? It's all the trash talking. I can't wait for that.
But no, I think Prograis did a great job. I think he just showed the levels to the game. I actually was at the Taylor Prograis fight, and I scored it to Prograis. I thought Regis he won. He beat Josh Taylor. I think the undisputed should have been him. And yeah, it's just great performance to be expected from him at this point.
Listen, I'm a big Prograis fan, and I picked him to win that fight, right? But Harry, you need your scoring license revoked, bro. Don't get me wrong, it was a close fight, but he ain't win, bro.
He won. He outlanded Josh Taylor. Sorry, not Josh. Josh Taylor. He outlanded him. I had him winning comfortably. And I stand by that. Happy to go by it round by round with you. We can sit and watch each round together, pause it in the break, and explain to each other who we scored it to and why. And
I
do a
ain't got that
pod.
much time, bro. I was late to the podcast for a reason. I ain't got that much time on my hands.
Excuses.
And with you traveling and shit, when you going to Italy, bro?
May next year.
May.
May
Oh,
next
you
year.
delayed it.
Yeah, I'm sorting out the dog's travel documents and stuff, and I'm planning like an actual Euro trip.
Dogs need travel documents?
Yeah, to get into Europe. Yeah.
What the fuck?
And to get him into Northern Ireland as well, because I was looking at going there for a little bit.
But does he have a passport?
Well, no, he doesn't have
Sorry
a
if I
passport.
sound dumb right now, but yeah.
No. So I need to renew my passport. I need to sort his documents out, sort his chip. I need to get switched over into my name. I need to do a few things. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm on board. Yeah, Jordan's just come back. He's going to see my ex.
Actually, you just brought me my lunch, innit?
Yeah. Dinner.
Yeah, dinner.
Yeah, well, you'll be gone soon as well, because after she started making me dinner, I fucked off.
Oh, oh, they're going to turn into a cancelling session.
No counselling. No, we needed a separation.
Uh-huh.
Well, I needed an entanglement, and then we had a separation.
All right. Let's move on.
Maybe swiftly moving on.
Yeah, swiftly. Let's move on to the little men now. Save probably the best fight that we're going to talk about for last, but it's going to be definitely the least viewed. Chocolatito versus Juan Francisco Estrada,
Yes.
the trilogy that people actually want to see, but most won't actually see it. For me, the second fight, I know Estrada won the second fight, right? I scored it for him. I thought it was pretty not comfortable, but I thought he won quite clearly. It was a majority decision. The first fight, Estrada come out strong. Chocolatito then came back. And then Estrada finished strong, but it wasn't enough. Chocolatito took that fight. But as dazzling as Chocolatito's hand speed is, I do not believe that Chocolatito is the better fighter. I believe Estrada, boxing fundamental wise, is a lot better than him. Obviously, the hand speed and the volume and the combinations, it plays a part, but I believe Estrada's better. And that was shown in the Wrongvisai fight. Estrada made Wrongvisai look like not an amateur, because amateurs can box. He made him look like a novice, like straight, like he didn't know what he was doing. He had the guy lost, confused. You could see the frustration in his face. Estrada was showboating. He was just doing nice, easy little things. Remember, at one point in the rounds, I think his corner told him that, "Oh, the judges had it close," because they did, and his face was just like, "What?" And then he just turned up the style a little bit more. So, but again, styles make fights. So maybe Chocolatito's style is just Estrada's kryptonite. But I do believe that Estrada is going to take this one. What do you guys think?
There's so many factors in this. It's an actual trilogy, right? Because they have styles that mesh well. They've also fought each other twice, so they should know each other fairly well by now. I think age as well. I think Chocolatito's 35, 36. These lower weights, that is a massive factor.
He's 35, yeah. He's 35.
I'm not too sure. And it's one of those fights where I'm not too sure because I don't care to see it. It's a fight where I'm not too sure. And because I'm not too sure, I just really want to see it. I can't. 1 minute I'm like Estrada, the next in my head I'm Chocolatito. I'm just back and forth. I'm actually excited to watch this. I think I'm going to watch the Fury Chisora fight so I can get to sleep to wake up early enough to watch the Chocolatito Estrada fight.
we out here using fights as medicine, sleep medicine, to get us through our day. That's crazy. That's really crazy.
Yeah, thanks, Frank Warren. Never let me down.
Crazy. No, so yeah, I'm with you, AB. I rewatched both fights. Yo, with Chocolatito, man, I feel like that style just works better the younger you are. When you have the most of your athleticism, and your reflexes, and your speed. But all three of those things get diminished. You know what I mean? As you get older, and I didn't realize, Chocolatito's a couple more years older than Estrada. Estrada's 32. That's still pretty good age, man. Like, I feel like you don't really get out of your prime in boxing until like 33, 34 type ish era where you start showing some signs. So 32, that's still pretty fly, man. I feel like if he can show him something in the second fight, even though it was a split, I still feel like now he's got him even more, and it could be just a subject of him catching him at an age where Chocolatito is. I don't know, because when I seen what's that guy's name? You said him, Estrada. What's his name? I can't pronounce his name. Yeah, when Chocolatito fought him, you see he tried that style, and it was literally what I said, the age and just it just couldn't keep with it, and I don't know. I can feel that happening again with Estrada. I feel like Estrada gonna watch it because like you said, and I do agree. It's kind of like what I said about Joshua and Whyte. Like when you boil it down to it, like Estrada's the better boxer than him on paper, I feel like, and I feel like he's gonna show that. So yeah, I think it's a unanimous. You know what I'm saying? UD, you feel me? Nothing too crazy, but yeah.
Just checking the comments, guys. I can see new adult dating chat free. Jordan, copy and paste that. You're gonna need that when you're done with my ex. But no, I agree with you, Don. Like it's so exciting. Yeah, there we go. Well, we're doing well, boys. If we're getting spam bots on here, it means we're generating traffic and getting the eyeballs on us. So. Yeah, no, I think it's a great fight. I honestly can't wait for this fight. I think it's one for the actual like purists of boxing, people that like to watch good fights. And I think the thing that you can really enjoy about the lower weight divisions is the fact that because you don't necessarily get the knockouts, it's almost like watching a chess match. I think the heavier you get, the more it sort of turns into checkers, sort of or backgammon, where it's very like the art of war. So the art of battle, whereas the lower weights, it's more the art of war. It's more watching step by step and game plans unfold, and you can see they've always mapped out the duration of the fight and how that game plan evolves and the style of it's yeah. I'm so excited.
Yep.
Okay, predictions.
Chocolate.
Okay, Jordan. I got John Estrada by Rear Naked Chuck Sagna. Unanimous decision. And then UD. But yeah, that's how I got it.
I got the same. I got Estrada by decision. Harry, what's you?
Chocolatito decision.
Okay. We split
50-50.
I'm betting Jordan. Jordan, I actually want to hear your reasoning because you didn't really say why. How you got it? How you got the win?
Knockout.
You go for knockout?
What? What? I thought I heard you correctly. Do my ears precede me? I thought I heard you say knockout. That's crazy. Okay.
I'll tell you my logic. My logic is
I've
not watched either of the fights. So I'm just guessing.
This man is crazy.
Go to underdog.
I don't think he's the underdog, is he?
Nah, he's definitely not. Because he won the first fight.
Oh. Well, it's a sensible decision, isn't it?
Yeah. This man Jordan's crazy.
I think for me, this is going to be like Chocolatito's last fight, and I think he's got enough in him to just pull one more performance out the bag.
How old is Chocolatito?
35,
he's
36.
35.
He's 35. Yeah. I thought he was 36. So yeah, he's 35.
You know what? It's mad to think that he's on his way out at 35. Because realistically, what age did Mayweather retire?
Like, pretty much fought. Well, it depends if you count the McGregor fight as an actual fight or if he's
42, 41.
I think
40.
40, yeah.
We're looking at a flyweight, mate.
Who?
Chocolatito is a flyweight.
Yes, if anything, it should be more durable, no?
No, they're
your chin goes as you get older. Your chin goes as you get older, and your reflexes and conditioning. All right, you can probably have the same sort of engine, but Chin will go as you get older, and the reflexes of a lighter fighter will they'll go with age.
These
So,
are doing about 2,000 punches a fight, and that's
yeah, exactly. So you can't do
right.
that in your mid-30s. I mean, the fact that Chocolatito still can speaks to his legacy.
Yeah.
1,000 each, bro.
1,000 a hand? That's crazy. Shit.
1,000 hands.
1,000 a hand? That's crazy. He said 2,000. He only got 2 arms. God damn. That's crazy. Shit. Yeah.
I just checked, and Chocolatito is a sizable favorite in this fight.
Yeah, because you know why? I think I said it last week on last week's podcast. It's a shame that people won't really watch this fight because the semi-casual type fans, they know Chocolatito, but they might not know Estrada, which is crazy to me because I feel like Estrada doesn't have. He should be known more. You know what I mean? Like just publicly, I feel like he's not, especially from being Mexican too. Like and they have a strong following in boxing. I feel like he should be more than he is, and it would help the fight more.
That's always down to the fighter, though. There's only so much a promoter can push you. Like the fighter yourself, you've got to be your own promoter. And if
I
you
think
can't
as well. I mean, but another reason I'm leaning towards Chocolatito is Don. Did you ever come across a fighter called Charlie Edwards?
Yeah, I love him. He's fine.
Okay.
He's got the younger brother, right? Sonny.
Sonny, yeah. Sonny's a brilliant boxer. Not my person. Due to outside allegiances. In fact, shout out the guru of girth, Prince Patel. But Charlie
and Ryan as well. He's ops for all of us.
Sorry?
Said he had beef with Ryan as well, so he's ops to all of us.
No, they squashed it now. They're good. They're sparring partners.
Oh, my bad. I take everything I just said back.
Yeah. They're good.
First of all, I'm in the US.
Yeah, I mean, but coming back to my point, Charlie and Sonny are two brothers that are brilliant boxers. Sonny is the more talented of the two. I think if you could take Charlie's charisma and Sonny's ability, you'd create the perfect boxer. Unfortunately,
would you not say Sonny's got more charisma than?
Yeah, I feel like man.
No, I don't think so. I think Sonny is a. If you look at what he does, if you look again, it comes back to there was a previous management company that pushed him when they were active. Everyone was going, "Oh, Sonny's the king of Twitter." But if you look at what Sonny actually did, he'd scroll through his comments. He'd find a comment that's negative from someone that's quite easy to jump on. He'd look through their profile and he'd like insult their children or call their missus fat. That's not really being the king of Twitter. That's not wit. That's bullying.
No. It's defense, self-defense.
Well, I guess, yeah, when you look like Gollum. So, anyway. But Charlie was WBC champion. Brilliant boxer. He was weight drained, but a guy called Martinez beat the living shit out of him. And he got disqualified in the fight because when Charlie dropped, he hit him when he was out. So, Martinez was Chocolatito's last fight. And Chocolatito beat the shit out of him. So my logic going into this is if you can go in against a young, hungry lion and embarrass him, then what you're looking at is someone who wants to prove their legacy, who wants to go out on a high. He's not turning up for a payday because it's not really there in the lower weights. He's going for it. So that's why I'm backing. That's where I'm putting my money.
Makes sense.
No bad point. Again, guys, if you're watching, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a review. You know what? I just realized, I've got it underneath.
Whoa! It's not that kind of podcast, my guy.
Okay. AB, I can only get so erect.
I didn't know what you was gonna do. You just started, you just whipped it off and shit. I ain't know, man. You gotta be careful.
I forgot how to underneath. You know, it was the new adult dating chat stuff that got me a bit, So I just thought, fuck it, let's go. But yeah, out now, guys. Yeah. So last fight that I want to talk about. If you don't want to jump into another one after, that's up to you. But Fabio Wardley, I think his name. It's Fabio, right?
Yes.
Fabio Wardley knocks out Nathan Gorman. It was
Oh
a back and
man,
forth
come
fight.
on, man.
We gotta
Come
talk
on,
about it, bro.
man.
It was a back and forth fight. Gorman showed a bit of heart, but regardless, was stopped in the third round. Looked tired as well. Wardley, he hits hard, but he's a smaller heavyweight. Gorman's a smaller heavyweight as well. But Gorman, like, as soon as he gets hurt, I feel like
You've
Oh, your
muted
mic went out.
yourself.
Your mic went out.
We
Oh,
can
he's
hear you.
opening it up to us. He's opening it up to us. His mic went out. All right. I was gonna say, yeah, man. I think the problem with Nathan is when he gets hit, his face just tells it too easily. Like even if he wanted to hide the fact that it hurt, he couldn't. Like he just has a really bad poker face, and for people who hit hard, they're like, "Oh, that's easy money. I'm just gonna keep punching in your face because it's hurting you." Like, you know what I mean? It sucks, dude. Like because I feel like technically he's very, very solid, as a fighter, but it's just. The fact that he's undersized mixed in with the fact that he just does not do well with getting hit, which is, that's a main thing in boxing, bro. You got to be good with getting hit in the face, at least to some degree. You know what I mean? And I just feel like every time he gets touched by something that like really hurts him, you can tell like he's like, I'm really in pain. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? He's gonna start some therapy because you can't be just reliving past heavy shots every time you get hit. Like you gotta soldier that, man. Don't like as soon as you show someone, that's it. Like you're hurt. Every time you get hit, it's like blood to a shark. They're gonna keep attacking. You gotta hide that, man.
For me, what I noticed was I think Wardley was feeling Gorman out in the first round, and Gorman went out and let his hands go, and he broke Wardley's nose. What you've got with Fabio is his ability to recover, and what he's got, and I really, really like about him, is that when he gets hurt, he doesn't think, "Oh fuck, tuck up," or do what Gorman did, which is lay on the ropes and try and let the other guy punch himself out. He's like, "Nah, fuck this," and he'll put it on him, and he put it on Gorman. I think out of those 3 knockdowns, 2 of them Gorman took a knee. He could take a knee tactically, but I think at least one of them he didn't. I think one of them he just sort of didn't want to be in there anymore.
He
kept looking at his corner.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that he turned up to collect his money and fuck off, but at the same time, I wasn't sort of thinking, yeah, he wants it. Another thing that Gorman did, and it surprised me, because you'd have thought it would be Fabio that did this. Because if you look, Fabio comes from a white collar background. He signed up for 2 white collar fights. He did a bit on the unlicensed circuit, and then he turned pro. Gorman boxed for England. I think he fought to get on the GB squad, and something happened, and he didn't go for it, so he turned over and went professional. But when Gorman got hurt, he went back on the ropes, but instead of fighting from the ropes in a intelligent way, which would be side on, so you're leaning with like your back shoulder on the rope, so your shoulders in front of your face, so you can slip and roll the punches that are coming at you. He went side on, so he's got his feet in front of him, which if you get hit like that, you're going to go over. And he leaned back, so he was literally just laying back on the ropes to soak up punishment. In between soaking up shots, he did throw a bit back, and he did go for it, but he was also looking at his corner, wanting an out. And I think after the 3rd knockout, when they threw the towel in, I was really, really disappointed, because Gorman should have prepared for war. If you look at Fabio, his fights that have gone on longer, he'll start fairly fast. Middle rounds, he'll gas a bit. And at the later rounds, he sort of gets that knockout shot. If Gorman could have weathered the storm, I think he could have took over in those middle rounds.
Do you feel that is him gassing out or him just taking a breather?
Who, Gorman?
No, I thought, are you saying Wardy gasses out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he does. I think he coasts. I think he gets so comfortable he just coasts.
I think for me, in the fights that I've watched, it's more inexperience. So you can see he's learning on the job, right? And it's not me knocking Wardley, but I think he has slowed down in middle rounds. I think he's probably got a bit overexcited because when he's sort of stepped up his opposition, he's gone to blast them out. I think he came out to have a look at Gorman in the first round, got his nose broke. I think it was a left hook because Gorman had a beautiful counter left in that sort of first round and a half. And when he got hurt, you could see in his brain, it switched. Like I said at the beginning, he just goes, instead of going, I'm hurt, I'm going to back off and stay away. It turned in his head. He's like, no, fuck this. I'm going to put it on you. And we didn't get to see how it went. I think there's a lot more tests for Fabio to come. I'd like to see him defend the title another 2-3 times, go for the Commonwealth and just pace himself to get that experience. I think he does gas in the middle rounds. I can see your point, though. But I think with a few more fights and just a bit more experience, that will condition out of him. He'll know how to pace himself a bit better.
How do you compare Wardley's performance to Daniel Dubois' performance?
Daniel Dubois' performance against who? Gorman. I don't think Dubois got troubled in the fight, so it's hard. You're kind of comparing apples and oranges there. I think with Dubois. Sorry?
Impressive. In terms of impressive. Because right now, I've got it playing in the background, this fight. For one, I think Gorman didn't fear the size of Wardley.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when Dubois was fighting him, that fear factor was there. This is a big guy. If I get hit, it's game over.
Well, it's not just the fear, though, is it? It's the fact that they both knew each other. They were both sparring partners for Team England. So when you know someone and if you've sparred hundreds of rounds together, which they did, when you have that knowledge of the other guy, Gorman could be remembering times that Dubois knocked him out. Gorman could be remembering times that Dubois really hurt him. Gorman could remember times he's had to go to the trenches. So there's a different kind of attitude compared to stepping in with someone that you've not fought before. So it's hard to tell. I can see what you're saying. I think as well, if you look at from Gorman's perspective, he might have thought, yeah, this guy's white collar. He doesn't belong with me. I know that there are a couple of heavyweights I know that had sparred both of them before this camp. And one of them had said, quite honestly, he's like, if Gorman doesn't knock him out, I'd be surprised. And I think they were talking there about the ability and levels. But I just think Fabio turned up. In terms of who's the most impressive win, I would say Fabio's, just on the basis of he doesn't have the amateur pedigree. So to go from two or three unlicensed fights, 2 or 3 white collar, a little bit of unlicensed, and then go into knocking out someone for the British title that had fought for England as an amateur and had that pedigree, it's obviously Wardley.
I didn't think of it like that. I just thought performance on performance, Dubois pretty much didn't get touched. But like I said, he's had the amateur background. Wardley's still learning on the job. And I don't think how many fights has he had? Is he even in double digits yet?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe like 1 second.
Yeah, he's 14-0 now. So he's just so he was 13-0 going into it. Hasn't really stepped up against big opposition. So when you put it like that, I do see what you mean, Harry.
I think for me, Wardley has been his professional career, and it's a credit to Dylan Whyte, has been spot on, absolutely spot on.
He's a fighter.
Yeah, and he's a natural fighter as well. And it shows. If you look at all the amateur pedigree, I think I've said it before in a previous pod. You've got athletes and you've got fighters, right? An athlete does a sport, and when they get hit, you can see, in the first Joshua Ruiz fight, when Joshua got put down, he got up and he fucking panicked. He didn't know where the fuck he was. Yeah. When Wardley got hit and he got his nose broken, he bit down on his gum shield and he walked forward throwing punches. He was like, if you're going to hurt me, if you're going to send me and put me on my ass and knock me out, you're going to have to, fucking fight me for it.
You know what? I think harsh comparison. For one, when your equilibrium's gone, you don't know where the fuck you are. So a broken nose, you're still coherent. Yeah, it just every time you get punched, it's gonna hurt. You naturally get a hit and it hurts. You're gonna bite down. You think you fucker, you just. So I think when you're let's say for example you got a busted eardrum or equilibrium, and I think it's 2 different scenarios. I think.
But I think Joshua's equilibrium went after the second knockdown by Ruiz. The first one, it wasn't his equilibrium. It was he hooked him and then he hit him with a straight that put him down. It was the second knockdown where he hit him behind the ear.
That was the first one, Aaron.
I swear it was the second one.
No, that was a punch from the gods. That was the first one.
Yeah. And then after that, you couldn't recover.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
Punch from the
still think-
gods. Get the fuck out of here, boy. My man, hilarious.
Oh, I'm just quoting. That's what I remember it now, isn't it? Punch from the gods.
It was a punch from the gods, man. Because I tell you what, like, even when you watch it back, I didn't think Joshua was in trouble. Well, he wasn't in trouble. He was bossing it. Got greedy, got caught. Once he got caught, that was it. That was murder she wrote. You couldn't recover. Yeah, go on, sing it, Avery.
I was about to start singing. Remember though I was. Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
no.
I was hoping you didn't hear me.
Yeah, boy.
Just seen the highlights for Wardy. It's impressive. And you know what I liked about it? The aggression. As soon as he got hurt, he was like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't want to be a slip boxer no more. And that's what he's been guilty of. He's trying to show a bit too much of what he's capable of, rather than just go there, blast people out. The fact he just blasted Gorman out like this, England can't. It didn't mean nothing.
What did they weigh in for that fight?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure Wardley weighed about 20 stone less.
Wait, AB, load up the weights for that fight if you can.
Yeah, almost on it.
You can do that. Just what they both weighed in at. Because I think I have a point here that I've made to you guys previously, and this is going to be the exception to the rule.
I'm sure Wardley can make
Woodley's
cruiserweight.
6'5".
So he's 6'5", yeah?
He's a lot taller than I thought.
Gorman's 6'1.5". So
yeah, that's mad. That's very mad. If I don't
what
know
was the weight though? The weight, AB. I loaded up the height.
271 and 240.
Who was 240?
Wardley.
No, yeah, Wardy was 240.
And Gorman was 271.
Yeah.
And Fabio's 6'5", and Gorman is 6 foot, 6.5 foot.
No, there's no way, bro. They're the same
Undersized.
size.
No.
I'm watching the fight. They're the same height.
Undersized.
Oh, Gorman 6'4.5" according to Box, right?
6.5. So Fabio's still bigger, still taller.
Yeah, he is
Like,
bigger.
half an inch, mate.
Yeah, but listen, it still shows that in this instance, it's the exception to the rule that length beat girth.
Oh my god.
All of that for that,
Oh
Harry.
my
Fucking, I was gonna get some.
Did that's real insight there. That's years in the game. That's taking me to figure that one out.
Because the bar made Gorman look like a dwarf, or was I just seeing too
Dubois
much?
makes most people. Yeah, in
Like-
Chisora everything. Load that comment up, please.
His backspan is crazy.
This guy, dude. This fucking guy. He said, load that comment up immediately.
I got a fan. It's not very often I get fans. So I got to, shout out to RZ.
Inches of everything.
All right. Any other fights you guys want to talk about? No,
Obviously,
thank God.
I'd actually say I was really, 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 really disappointed with the undercards on the fights this weekend. And we haven't spoken about Parker Ryder either. And I think that's an injustice because that's a big fight. That was a big fight. It was anticlimactic, but there's a conversation to be had there, especially with you, Jordan, as a fighter.
Which Parker vs Ryder?
No, you can question me, mate.
John.
Hey, listen, my hand's gone. I will fight with one hand. Like
Exactly. I swear to God, if that was John Ryder that was in that fight and his hand went, if there were no rounds, if there was unlimited rounds, he would still be punching today.
Yeah.
I think John Ryder's a brilliant fighter, and he's one of those guys where he's lost some he should have won, and he's won some he should have lost, and he's really, really, really. I just like him. I think he'll fight anyone. He turns up. He always does his best, even if he's feeling flat. I really, really like John Ryder. I've got a soft spot for him. Zach Parker talks the talk, and the pressure that John put on him, the way that John was sort of like, no, you're in the big boy leagues now. After 4 rounds, he spewed it, and I was really disappointed. I get that your hand's gone. I get that it hurts. He said that when he was punching him, he could feel his hand clicking. That's a fight, mate. You're going to get hurt. It's the hurt business.
Yeah. I mean, you really got to look at how many fighters in history have had a busted hand, dislocated shoulder, fractured jaw, eye socket, and continue to fight. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not a big enough injury to stop the fight. He might be thinking of a career-long thing. Sometimes the battle's not worth the war. But yeah, to me, he's as a fighter, yeah, you just got to leave it all in there. But I think he said in his interview that he's fought too many times with one hand, and it was just too much. But yeah, I mean, if it's the case of he board drawed it and just jabbed his head off, tied him up every time he come in, see out the fight, see it out.
I think for me, I was really, really, really looking forward to that fight. And I was actually saying in the build up to it, do you know what? I'm actually probably going to watch this fight over the Whyte Franklin fight. It just so happened that Whyte Franklin came on earlier, and I tuned in, and I thought, the timing of this, I was expecting Whyte or Franklin to get a knockout so I could jump into the Ryder Parker fight and rewind it a bit and then catch up by skipping the breaks in between the rounds and just being a few minutes behind. So I was like, perfect, what a night of boxing. But actually,
sorry, I've actually got it playing in the background. That Parker is a southpaw.
Yeah, they're both southpaw, but Parker's a switch hitter.
Yeah, but he's a switch hitter. You see, there's no excuse. If he was just purely one-sided southpaw and his backhand's gone or his front hand's gone, it doesn't matter which one, you could have half argued. When you're a switch hitter, mate, there's no excuse. You could have fought with one hand. Even if you fake, you're baiting, you're not actually hitting the guy with one hand. He's still got a power punch.
You can pour it out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not good enough. That's not good enough.
Fair enough. All right, guys, that's been us. Again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Purist Apparel out now, link in bio. Thursday show coming Thursday. So, guys, stay tuned for that.
Yeah, this Thursday.
Kuzan, thanks for coming. Jordan, good to see you after a while. Harry, same to you as well. And yeah, guys, that's been us. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.
Yeah.